Hello and welcome. My name's Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. And hey, this is another live session here where I'm talking about, stuff from my book, A Mind for Sales. And I'm really specifically talking about a new program we just launched today, comes out of our online university. Hey, we were named as one of the top 10 sales development online programs in the world. Hey, pretty significant. The program we're talking about right now is really about how to make the phone work. Yes, the telephone does work. Hey, you know what? It's amazing. You can actually pick up this phone and you can actually make a phone call. Kind of amazing. Too many salespeople today, what they're doing is they're not using the telephone because, I'll just send email. Well, let me tell you something. I can send an email to one person. It may be a bad email. And then, I'll send it to 1,000 people, and that's 1,000 bad emails. This is something you have got to watch out for very, very closely. And I'll tell you what, it gets people into trouble so fast. So it pains me. And it's the reason we put together the masterclass. I want you to jump out right here to learn.thesaleshunter.com. We just launched it this morning. It's a $59 phone masterclass, all on phone prospecting. It really digs in. And I tell you what, I want you to dig into the content. I want you to get it right now. But let's run through a couple of things. And first of all, what does it take to get the phone to work? First of all, you got to have a plan. You got to have, making one phone call is not going to do anybody any good. Don't kid yourself. I see too many people, what they do is they get themselves into trouble. So they go ahead and send out like one email or one phone call, and it doesn't go anywhere. You have to have a plan. I was on the phone. I was on a Zoom call this morning, a Teams call this morning with a sales team where we're walking through their cadence. And their cadence is phone, email, and they're repeating it twice every week with the same people. And for a few of the people, they have 15 prospects that they're making a call to every day. And then they're rotating it with email. You've got to have a plan. The telephone works. And see, this is what too many people give up on. They make a few phone calls. They don't get success. So then what happens is they just back off. They say it doesn't work. You see, you have to look at the telephone, much like prospecting. It has a long tail. And what you're doing is it has a long tail in that it takes a while for it to get momentum. It's a little bit like a flywheel. If you think about a flywheel is very hard to get turning. But once you get turning it, it's amazing how it continues to turn faster and faster and faster. I'll tell you what, hey, we got a great group of people already listening in. Great to hear you. You're right. First step of a sequence is getting the plan together, spot on. And of course, then you talk about, hey, social, email, or phone. And I like all three. I'm going to show you today how we tie in all three into that. And that's what's very, very key. So here's the whole thing. You have to have a plan. And I say, don't start until you have that plan. Because otherwise, all you're doing is you're just throwing smoke in the air. So I'm gonna build it out. So how do I build it out? What are the steps? Well, first of all, it's really, you have to realize that there's 4 ways a call can go, okay? There are 4 ways a call can go, okay? A call can go where the person you're trying to reach is going to answer the phone. That's terrific. They actually answer the phone. That's great. 2, the phone can be picked up by somebody who is known as the gatekeeper, the operator, the administrative assistant, whoever it might be. 3, the call could go into voicemail. Well, now what do I do? Or 4, it could go into a series of prompts. You know the prompts. Hey, listen to 1, push 1 for this, push 2 for this, push 3 for this. And the problem is you got to be prepared for each one of them. You have to be prepared for each one, because here's the deal. If you're not prepared for each one, it's amazing how you're going to get caught short. I was listening to some phone calls the other day. And a gentleman, hello, Steve, great to hear from you. Great to catch you online. And here's what's very interesting. He was so used to leaving voicemails that he was called and the person actually answered. The person actually answered and he didn't know what to do. You see, you have to be prepared before you make any calls to know exactly what am I going to do if the person answers the phone? What am I going to do if the gatekeeper? What am I going to do if it goes into voicemail? And what am I going to do if it goes into prompts? Now, I don't have time to go through all 4 of these. Again, these are all things we kind of walk through in the course. But you're right. You've got to be prepared for each one. Now, here's a couple of key things. You have to remember this. It is all about engaging and not sharing. Engage, don't share. One of the things that causes people to not want to get in a conversation with you is because all you're doing is sharing. If all you're doing is sharing, why do they need to talk to you? They don't need to talk to you. They really don't. You know what? They can go to a YouTube video. And what they'll get is really just as good. And oh, by the way, it's actually better because they don't have to worry about hurting somebody's feelings. You see, what I want to do is I want to engage. So if I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling you and you answer, I've got to be prepared with 3 questions that I'm going to ask to engage you. I've got to have 3 questions ready to engage you. If I leave you a voicemail, I've got to be able to either A, share a piece of information or ask a question that, again, is going to engage. If I'm calling and I get a gatekeeper or administrative assistant, I've got to know how am I going to respond. These are all some of the things that we go through in this new masterclass that's available right now on phone prospecting. And I do want you to pick it up. I do encourage it. And even on the 4th one, and here's a little technique I'm going to share with you. Okay. We'll say you get the automatic prompts. You know, there's only a couple departments that really answer the phone all the time. Yeah. It's accounts receivable. It's going to be safety and security, and it's going to be sales. Those are the only 3 departments that are really going to answer the phone. Really stop and think about this. I love going to sales. I'm going to go to sales. And the person who picks it up in sales is probably going to be a junior salesperson. And that's okay. I'm very comfortable with it being a junior salesperson. Now, here's why. Because they're going to be willing to engage with you. See, I can engage. I'm not sharing. I'm engaging with them. You see, each one of the 4 I have to have engaged. Now, here's what's cool. If I get a hold of this junior salesperson, because they're the ones that are kind of tasked with really answering the phone and kind of taking care of business. So what happens? I want to be right up front with them. I want to be up front with them and share with them what it is that I'm looking for, who it is that I'm looking for. But I want to go a step further. I want to engage them by saying, hey, who are the types of customers you're looking for? How can I help you? You see, what I've found, and this has worked many, many times very, very successfully, I create a relationship with that sales department. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage them in a great conversation. And it's amazing what happens. Now, again, I go into much more in depth. Hey, Patrick, good to have you on. Boy, we got a big audience here. This is absolutely terrific. Thank you. Thank you so much for everybody checking it out. Because what I'm talking about is just some of the content from my new masterclass that just came out today on phone prospecting. And again, I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of a tease, a little bit of a thing. Here's something else that I really want you to do. And that is I want you to stay focused and realize it's repetitive. The best sales tip you'll ever get is found in your shower. Yes, in your shower. And it's on that bottle of shampoo. That bottle of shampoo, there are going to be some words that say rinse and repeat. Rinse and I can't stress this enough. Because think about this. What is rinse and repeat? You put shampoo in your hair, you rinse it out, and then you repeat the process, right? That's exactly what you're doing. And it's so valuable here because I have to stay focused. I have to stay in the game. But what does this mean? I've got to have a new value statement, new questions each time I call. Each time I reach out, I'm delivering some new information. This is what's key. Now, when I mean repetitive, it's not repeating the same information. It's being repetitive in terms of I'm going to have to make multiple phone calls to you. And don't say, Mark, hold it. I'm going to be bugging them. Well, yes, you are bugging them. And yes, you are going to interrupt them. You have to realize that. In fact, I posted a video on this morning on LinkedIn. You know, your prospects didn't wake up this morning thinking about you. They won't be thinking about you until you call them. You see, you are going to interrupt them, but this is why it's so important, because you know you can help them. You know you can make a difference with them. And when you know you can make a difference with them, it is amazing how things happen. Yes, you see, it really comes down. What are you doing to engage them? Every time I have a conversation, I come back with a new point every time. And every time it's a different point. Now, this is one of the key things about what am I doing? I am rinsing and repeating in the same target market. Good morning, chatter. Good afternoon. I just had breakfast with you this morning. Great to see you on the video. We got a terrific audience here today. Absolutely fantastic. Here's something I want you to think about for a moment. Would you respond to your phone calls? I want you to be very serious. Would you respond to your phone calls? Chances are you wouldn't. So if you wouldn't, why would your prospects do this? But here's why I want you to get serious. You're prospecting against people or people who you know you can make a difference with. This is what's absolutely key. You are prospecting with people who you know you can make a difference with. This is what makes what we do so valuable. This is what makes interrupting worthwhile. Because if I know I can help you, I have an obligation to reach out to you. Yeah. Now, here's the deal. I may not always be able to make it work on the telephone. But one of the easiest ways to get the telephone working even more is this. It is called combine with email, social media. Yes. Now, this is great. We got a great question here. Curious, what is actually follow the instruction on shampoo bottles? I only use soap ones, but it's also because mine is like $45 per small bottle and every drop is gold. Yes, it is. And I'll tell you what, I love that because every word you say is gold because you can't waste the prospect's time. You can't waste the prospect's time just rambling on. It's got to be concise. Next week, in fact, I'm doing a session just like this. I'm going to talk about the first 5 seconds. The first 5 seconds. Because the first 5 seconds is when you either get them or you lose them. Yeah. Let's step back to this here for just a moment. And it's great. We got people from all over the world. We got people from South Africa. Absolutely terrific. We got a lot of people throwing out comments today. Absolutely fantastic. Here's something I want you to think about for a moment. And that is this whole thing about combine with email and social media. The telephone will exponentially become more valuable when you combine it with email and social media. One of the things that I love to say is that your reputation arrives before you do. Many times what happens is you call people and they're going to ignore you. They are going to ignore you. And you leave voicemails and they're still going to ignore you. But here's what's interesting. If they have begun to see you out on social media, out on LinkedIn, we'll stick with B2B, LinkedIn, or if they've been receiving some emails from you and they're, wow, these are really informative emails. These aren't selling emails. These are informative. And oh, by the way, informative emails are still selling. I'll get to that in a second. What I'm doing is this. I'm not saying, maybe I do need to talk to Mark. Maybe I do need to talk. Yes. You see, this is what this is all about. You increase. So what I want to do is I want to time my phone calls with social media and email. And here's one of the easiest strategies with which to use. I'm going to begin with social media. I'm going to begin putting posts and comments out on social media so people begin to understand who I am. When they begin to understand who I am, then, okay, maybe become more receptive. Now, that doesn't say they're necessarily going to pick it up. Then I'm going to call you and I'm going to follow up with an email. And I'm going to call you again, follow up with an email. Now, when I say follow up with an email, it's not, hey, I just called you 5 minutes ago. How come you didn't respond? No, I'm following up with a different value statement. Now, it can be similar. It can be similar to what I shared in the voicemail I left you, but I don't want it word for word. Never think of the emails or voicemails that you send out as if you're a parakeet and all you're doing is repeating people. Because if you do, then you are wrong. Hey, we got people here from Central America, Africa. We got Dubai, absolutely terrific. We got people from all over the world listening in because you know what? The telephone absolutely works. Now, let's back up here for just a second. And I really want to talk about email, social media, and phone. What is the right cadence? What is the right? I'm going to probably put out twice as many messages on social media, but I don't get drunk on social media. Okay, this is what's important. In other words, I take my posts and I put them out there on social media. Hello, Canada. Hey, women's soccer winning the gold. Congratulations. Kudos to Canada on winning the gold in women's soccer in the just completed Summer Olympics. Congratulations. Man, we got people from all over. If you haven't chimed in from some other country, by all means, chime in. Let us know where you're connecting from. Terrific. But here's something I want to come back to. I can put out 2 or 3 times as many posts out on social media. And these are industry posts. These are broad, general posts. Am I going to LinkedIn message people? Probably not. No. I'm going to follow them. And I can do this if I have a limited number of prospects. I can't do this if I'm doing 100 prospects a day. I can follow people and I can chime in on them and I can add some comments and so forth. I'm just going to be just sharing conversations. Hey, we got the great country of Texas on the board, the Lone Star State. We've got New Jersey. Hey, you know what? This is interesting. I used to live in New Jersey, and the Ohio State. Go Bucks. Okay. Well, I happen to live in Nebraska, so I'm sorry. But you notice I did bow down to you and I say the Ohio State. Okay. Enough about that Big Ten country. Anyway, good. Hey, here's the whole thing. And I keep losing my track because we've got so many comments coming in, but this is absolutely fantastic. Here's the situation. I'm not necessarily going to LinkedIn message you. I may, but I really would prefer to get you with the telephone. And here's the reason I want to get you with the telephone, because I can exchange more information with you in a 2-minute phone call than I can in 3 or 4 messages, however they come. We have Puerto Rico on the line. We have LA on the line. We got Guatemala. We've got the United Kingdom. This is absolutely fantastic. This is a great audience we have here. So what I'm going to do is I begin to set my arena, my presence, my marketplace for social media. And then what I do, we got Tel Aviv in the house. This is outstanding. Oh, great. Terrific. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then begin to call you. I'm going to reach out. And I know that you probably aren't going to answer the phone, but I'm going to leave a voicemail. And here's the value about the voicemail. My personality gets to come through. Hey, Dan, Mark Hunter, the sales center, got some new information that's really helping a lot of companies like yours really find better prospects. Give me a call when you get a chance. 402-598-6194. Thanks, Dan. Look forward to talking to you. Now, you notice that was only about a 12-second voicemail. You see, voicemail, you don't have to leave long voicemails. Voicemails need to be short and tight, and this is why they're so important to be short and tight. Because if you leave short and tight voicemails, people will begin to respect you, that you respect their time. I got a voicemail from a salesperson that was 1 minute and 37 seconds long. I wish I'd kept it. Now, think about this. Did I listen to a 1 minute, 37 second voicemail? No, I listened to about 10 seconds of it, and then I hung up. And the reason I hung up was because, forget it. And I made sure that I recognized that phone number, and I'm never going to talk to that person. You see, but if I leave you 2 or 3 very short 12, 14 second voicemails, guess what? Sometime I'm going to call you and you're going to say, yeah, because you respect my time. That's the value of it. Same thing with the emails you send. Hello, Egypt. Great to have Cairo in the house. I think we haven't heard from anybody in Australia. If somebody in Australia is watching, chime in, or somebody from Asia. I don't think we've had anybody from Asia yet, because actually Dubai is in Asia. You're right. We have had Asia. So, excuse me, I got to know my geography better. My apologies. Here's what it's about. The email I send out is going to reflect the voicemail. What you want to do with any email you send out is never send the email out to the point that you give them enough information to allow them to make a decision. The purpose of the email is to create interest. Because what you're looking for is the phone call. You see, so everything you're doing is pulling people back into the phone call. This is what makes your phone call that much more valuable. So I may have to call somebody 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times before I reach them. And don't sit there and say, no. Oh, Israel. Oh, Dan, thank you. How did I miss that one? You're right. Israel is in Asia. Man, I need a geography lesson. Boy, man, spank me on that one. Yeah. Yes. And Michigan, organic, ergonomics. Cool. This is, we got people from all over and a lot of Big Ten schools, a lot of Big Ten country represented. Awesome. I'm excluding Texas because you're going to the SEC, but it's okay. It's okay. I won't hold that against the Big 12. Sorry. Football side note there for a moment. Here's the whole situation. What am I doing? Everything I'm doing is coming back to creating more engagement with the phone call. Now, think about this for a moment. Have I been engaging you? Now, I know we can't talk, but I'm engaging with the comments. Are you learning a little bit about my personality? Yes, because this is, again, one of the amazing things about the telephone. Your personality gets to come through. Now, unless you're the crazy aunt or the weird uncle, it is amazing how your personality works to your advantage. I love what Jim is saying. I try and make the subject in the email interesting and use their name. Yes, it's a value message because what you're doing is you're engaging them. You're showing interest in them. In fact, it's interesting. I've got an email. If you jump out to learn.thesaleshunter.com, you'll even see an email masterclass that I put out there a couple months ago. Tons of stuff in there, tons of scripts in there. Check that one out too. Here's the whole thing. The telephone works, and I want you to expect success. I think without a doubt, the two big reasons why people are not successful on the phone is because of the first thing I shared, they don't have a plan. And this one, they don't expect success. Well, the phone does not work. The phone does not work. So I'm not going to use it. Here's the whole thing. I make prospecting calls every day. Now, does every prospecting call turn into success? No. I get it. But you know what's interesting? Over the course of the day, I have great conversations. Which do lead to business. But see, what I got to do is I got to be able to put enough of these out there. I got to have enough of these phone calls going on in order. I can't call just one person and call it a day. Again, it comes back to the repetition, staying focused in the repetition. What I wanted to share with you today, just a few quick pieces of how to use the telephone to stay engaged. And it's all some of the stuff there in the online program, the university. I'll tell you what, I want you to grab it. I can't, this absolutely frustrates me. It frustrates me because so many salespeople are struggling and there's so much turnover in sales because they aren't willing to make it work right. This is great. Craig, I love this. I don't pick up phone calls. I don't know. VM needs to be quick and powerful to allow me to think. Thank you, Craig. You hit home just perfectly with that. That's why voicemails are so important. But it's got to be short. It's got to be that short 12 to 14 second voicemail. And I got to use your name once or twice. I have to just be very clear. And all I'm trying to do is engage you and create interest. Because then if I do that enough times, I will call and guess what? You will ultimately pick up the phone. The telephone works absolutely terrific. Don't say it doesn't work. I love it. I use it a lot. Here's what it comes down to. Sales is not a job. It's not a profession. Sales is a lifestyle built on helping others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. Think about that for a moment. My goal when I make prospecting calls is I'm going to help you see and achieve. I know I'm interrupting. I know. But I have something of interest. One final piece. The telephone does not ring on its own. The telephone does not ring on its own. I know that sounds old school. Doesn't make noise on it. You have to make it work. And if you become dedicated and focused to it, and over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to share with you some more strategies and ideas. But I do want you to grab the masterclass. We got a whole host of content. We got scripts in there. We got all kinds of things for you to use. Because I'll tell you what, it comes down to one very simple thing. Helping others. Yes. Hey, it's a must to have a look on the LinkedIn profile to customize the call. Yes, it does. Spot on. Now, this is what's so key. This is what is excellent. And I'm glad you brought this up, because when you take a moment to look at their LinkedIn profile, it is amazing, because how many times have you received a phone call and they're like, well, dude, why didn't you know what the name of my company is? I'm right out there. See, a very quick Google search going out on LinkedIn. Now, I know for some of you are working in industries where people just aren't out on social media. I get that, but you can still Google them. The more personable I can be, the better off you're going to be. Now, some of you, that's going to be impossible. I know. But you know what? That's where it is just simply engaging, and you share with them a question or an interest relative to the industry that they're in. Hey, I do hope you pick up the masterclass, jump out there, grab it. We just put it out there today. Absolutely terrific. We had everybody on the line today, with the exception of Australia. Australia, where are you? I know you're watching. I know you're watching. So anyway, if you're watching from Australia, ping me on LinkedIn or Facebook, would you? Or out there on YouTube. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter. The book I wrote was A Mind for Sales. I do want you to pick it up. High profit prospecting, high profit selling. Everything I do is designed to help you. Hey, I'm all over social media, just like you found me here today on social media. Most of all, I do hope to see you in the Sales Hunter University. Great selling.